Hey, hello, good morning, welcome. I hope everybody is happy Saturday. Saturdays are always cool. Everybody's relaxing, just waking up. Got your cup of alumni coffee here, University of Phoenix, alma mater. Um, hey, I hope everybody's having a great day. This is Dr. Blake here. We're at the good side Actionable Financial Literacy Center here. Uh, Going over again some good insight from Building Financial Literacy book here, Joseph. And hey, I'm always having a good time. Good time. Got some great information to share with you today, and want to give you a reminder that Monday I'm going to have a break off new virtual book club with myself and my cohort, uh, Joanna Walker. She's going to be leading us as we read. Our first book is going to be uh, The Power of One More. So you want to join in on that? You can go to my website, go to my Facebook page, which is a Doctor Authors page rather, Dr. Joseph Blake Jr. And you can go there, express your interest, sign up for that. We're gonna be it's going to be great. We're going to learn some good stuff, have some good music in the background, and always learning, always finding another way to give you some information out there to just be a better you. And that's what that book club is about. Help us being a better you, better me, better us. So we make this world a better place. So I point that out. I'll share a little bit later as well. So today is about educating the individual, educating individual investor. Again, learning more insights about. Sometimes it's things from out the book, but this time it's going to be about an article I researched. Uh, it's from a speech given by a Arthur Levitt back in, and actually this is back in like in '98. But it's relevant today because he was talking about something that that's still relevant now, and he was mentioning about how they're going to privatize Social Security, and that's still on um, uh, tips of everyone's mind right now. But it's not necessarily the act of Social Security, but the point of being able to know that as an individual you need to think about things. You got to think on these things to make sure that you make sure that we do something about what we want to know, what we know, and then act on it. So it's back to it and back to it. Let me just get the PowerPoint up so we can get it rolling. All right. So hang tight. Got this new platform here. It's helping me out here, but I gotta share my screen. And the funny thing is, technology as it changes and gets better, it's it's fun to learn. And sometimes as you continue to progress in life and get better at what you do, you got to be willing to change. You got to be willing to um, uh, take that extra step to try something new. Try something new to to get better at your craft. And when you do that, it's fun. All right, so here we go. I got that's my book right there. I'm kind of minuscule on the side here, but here we are. So there we have a text right there, and so we always start out with our model there. So we're talking about the actionable financial literacy decision model. So we have the knowledge that comes in. That's the information that we get from whatever source. Read my book, going to the library, getting the knowledge that needs to come in. Then next we have the behavior. At the end, we have the behavior that we want to change and correct. Inside of the model is the actions that we need to take. And actions are literal physical things that somehow we need to do and correct. So we talked about the stewardship. This is the beginning of the year, so you got to go back to January, start listening to those things. But you got the stewardship, the money basics, the investing, and the borrowing and protecting. Those five elements that we need to look at, and we look at those things on a monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, annual basis. And it depends on where you are in your financial situation, how often, how often you need to look at them. But those are actionable items that you need to look at and correct and detect in there. So in that actionable items, you have your behavior model. The behavior model is like your shopping cart. And that shopping cart, you take the shopping cart and you go within each stage of your action model, and you look at your shopping. You're looking to correct and detect any errors in your thinking. You're looking to correct any error in your thinking. You're looking to see if everything's economically working right. If those economic standards are making the right financial influence, because the money's piling up, the thoughts are piling up, their actions piling up, and if there's anything monetary flawed in that, in those thinkings, if there's a flawed thinking that, okay, I got this investment that's going to be doing this for me, is it doing that? And then you look at it, if there's anything unrealistic in that. If you're thinking you want to become a multimillionaire 5 years from now, possible, but you need to make sure you're making the right choices, making the right decisions, taking the right steps to get you there. And then if you're looking at if what you're doing or what you've done can be recreated within your immediate group or as a larger economy, society as a whole. Can what you've done the past 10 years, can what you've done, what you the individual done, can you recreate that in a larger set of the economy as a whole? Do you know what you've done past 10 years? Can you share it with someone else and they get the same results? Do you want them to get the same results? That's something you have to actually ask yourself. Okay, so moving on, we're talking about the economic model. It is the inflation model that happens to us, and it shows give just another model, another way of looking at what's been. Not gonna spend a lot of time on that. But it's just another model you can look at, and that was borrowed from another family of funds that I've looked at too. Now, I reuse things so we can have an idea, and these are just along my 28 years of being an investment advisor that I see that I think are useful. Now, this is the article. It talks about financial literacy and helping individual investors. Again, this is from a speech from Mr. Levitt. Now, this article, one of the things it said, and this is something that I always kind of remember: is a good father or mother leaves inheritance to his children's children. So you learn these things so you can leave something for your family, so they can get better. They can go from the next generation to the next. And it's man, it's wonderful when my mom, uh, she left something. For me, her mama didn't leave her anything, but mama left me something. So I leave something for my kids, and my kids are doing their own thing. Because I was able to give them that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Man, it's just like great when you know your grandkids are like they're they're just so much further ahead. Your grandkids are them kids they're gonna be my baby's gonna be fine. But you had to build that same thing for your family. So here, the article, one of the things it mentions says the most significant development in our markets today is a rise in the prominence of the individual investor. That's the individual investor has become more dominant as the years have gone by. More people have invested on an individual level now than he did 20 years ago, 20 years before that, and then before then. Most people didn't invest uh, more in individual stocks back in the day. They've invested in it, but even more so now, they invest in mutual funds. Those are the most prominent ways that people can invest, and those are mutual funds. Sometimes you have a large crowd that say, "Oh, mutual funds don't work." Crazy, absolutely nuts. Mutual funds work. I got them. I got mutual funds and individual stocks. Both are heavy hammers when you're trying to build wealth. Wealth is systematically built up over time. It's not one day, 1 month, one sitting. Systematically accumulated over time. So, but the individual investor is key right now. That person, that individual is key. So, and all the word tells us, and all that get an understanding, understand what's out there, what's available to you, and then go get it, buddy. You got to go out there and get it. If you don't get it for you and your family, somebody else is going to go get it, and you could be left out. But listening here, you're going to go get it. Okay, so that's the prominence right now. All right, so let's look at some of these things. All right. Educating the individual investor. Now, I did this kind of like from a networking group I got. We're going to talk about a quote, a thought, and then a question. Right? A quote, a thought, question. Quote, thought, question. All right. Here's a quote. It's easier to thrive during prosperous times, but sustainability must be your watchdog, your watchword to maintain sustainability. I like rhyming. I don't know. Yeah, that's the rapper side of me. I'm not the greatest rapper. Just I grew up in the rap era. That was way before what he doing now. I don't, what he doing now, I have no idea. I'm not. But anyway, it's easy to thrive during prosperous times because sustainability must be your watchword to maintain sustainability. Well, suitability. Many words. Suitability must be your watchword to maintain sustainability. So, what I'm saying there is that it's easy with people for people to talk about, making money or being prosperous when times are good. Everybody comes in, yeah, well, I can get you this, I can get you that. Yeah, when the times are good, everybody talks about how good it is. Oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that. Well, when the time gets lean, that's when they start running. Oh no, I don't know, I'm not sure. They kind of fizzle out. I remember Warren Buffett made this. He made this statement back in like when the market went down back in 2008, 2009. He said, "You because he's country. I'm not really country. I got a little country, but not a whole lot." He said, "You can tell who's swimming naked when the tide goes out." It's funny. He said, "You can tell," and that's when those companies start to go down and go out and everything. You can tell who's been not doing right with their numbers and profits and projections and everything. You can tell who's not holding down a steady base of income for their companies. Because when those companies go down, they fall. And if they're cooking the books or whatever, you can tell who's that who's that type of company. So you can tell who's in business and who's been maintaining business because they tend to falter. May not be doing it right, may not be holding their assets in the proper place. They may not maintain a reserve fund and maintain their company for a while because they tend to falter. And you have to have the right for you to invest there. You have to make sure your assets are suitable for you at that time, suitable for you in the future, suitable for you during the times when it's up and it's down. You have to have a class of assets. You have a class of funds. You have a portfolio that's specific to your goals, your needs, and your objectives. You and your broker, you sit down, you work this thing out, see what you need, and it's like kind of like a waltz, doing your dance, doing your thing. Figure out what you need for you and your family. If you haven't done that, uh, it's tough. You can do it on your own, but you go out there and do the salsa by yourself. You look kind of funny. Won't look right. You take you on the drive from here. You driving from Phoenix to El Paso by yourself. You can do it. Kind of boring, but you can do it. And me, I like to drive with my wife. Like, come on, baby, let's go take this drive down the road. I like to have her with me so I can, so I can talk to her. You know, till she falls asleep. But, she's still over there though. I can see her. What's up, girl? Yeah, okay, you snoring? No sweat. No, we still arriving though. So that suitability has to be there. You have to understand that even when it's prosperous, everybody can talk good stuff when it's prosperous. But when it's going down, when the market's not doing as well, then people they run. Those brokers that are out there, and when it's not going well, they hide or don't want to return your call because it's going down, and not understanding there's a purpose and there's a process when a market does go down. But if you don't know you don't understand it, that's what happens. All right, so that's the quote. It's easy to thrive when during prosperous times, yet suitability must be your watchword to maintain sustainability. Okay, and then that's kind of a Joeism, but that's what I got from the article. All right, second point, the thought. Okay, the thought. Seeing the economy booming and investors thriving is envious. At the same time, preparing for turbulent times is inevitable. So that's a little bit on the first one as well. But so when investors are economy is booming and investors are thriving, it's envious. Now this is looking at it from a global effort. When economy in the U.S. and here in the United States is booming and investors are thriving, the global economy sees that our nation somewhat like um, it's like a beacon. We're like a beacon of prosperity. The U.S. is doing well, everybody else does well. U.S. is doing fine, other countries thrive off of that. How come? Americans like to spend money and lots of it. We like to get things, we like to purchase things, we like to make other orders. So we go overseas and we buy things from them. They sell things to us. We buy things from them. It's like this global effort of things, of transaction of wealth to other nations as a whole. It's not to say that we got it all, we done it all, we've seen it all. It's just that Americans are consumers from a global effort, and they need us and we need them. We're great. We're global consumers. We find a pair uh, decent pair of shoes or what have you, and they're made from someplace else. You look at a lot of the clothing now, not the clothes that that are made, they're made from other countries. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we think about we want to get stuff made in America, right? But the manufacturing of some type of labor now is done over in other countries because most Americans are like, nope, I ain't doing that. That's too much work. Not in all cases. Some cases, nope, I ain't doing that because we're more of a how does it go now? That's laborers, and we're more of a thought type country. We deal with the higher like technology type things and uh, uh, thinker type process of doing businesses in such a way. And it's not to say we're bigger, higher. It's just a different level of doing business now. And so, but other countries are just as well. But is we have more outlets further along in technology, further along in process, and other nations aren't there just yet. But it doesn't mean that we're greater. They just say we're a little different. And that's we're just a little different over here in the U.S. We have a little bit of all nations here. We have a little bit of all nations. You can find all nation people types in the U.S. Not to say in other nations they have it. We are unique in the United States to have so many different people groups, a representative of all people groups in the United States. But the nations don't have all representative people groups in their countries. That's what makes the U.S. so different, so unique, so wonderful. Okay, so when our country does well, when the economy is booming and investors are booming, it is envious. And then even when and then it was doing well, but at the same time, good times and bad times all come together. They come together, and that's comes from that's in the word. Uh, Now, as a matter of fact, the title of the book says Joseph, Building Financial Literacy. That Joseph is from Genesis chapter 40. That guy. My name just happens to be Joseph. So that Joseph from the Bible, and Joseph was the financier in Egypt, and he was interpreting the Pharaoh's dream about 7 years of famine, 7 years of prosperity, famine, prosperity, famine, and you can actually work out the 7 years of prosperity, 7 years of famine with the market. 7 years of prosperity, 7 years of famine. So it's like boom and a bust, boom and a bust, boom and a bust, boom and a bust, and it goes around in that cycle like that. And so after that 7 to 10 years, it works out in that way. You'll see it, and that's why it goes around the cycle like. So anyway, keep going. All right, so director's questions. So you're gonna have questions about the economy. So you got to have questions, confidence questions. Ask about the fees. What's fees happening in that market? What kind of fees are doing with that investment? Other thing you want to ask about, why that fund and not another one. So you're gonna have questions about what's going on in the economy. The other thing you want to think about is the value of the products or the service that you're getting from the broker. Okay, what makes you valuable? What makes what you do more better than, not really better, but what it makes you different? What are you doing that's different? What am I getting from you that's different than the other guy? So you want to be able to ask those questions. So as an educated investor, ask the questions. Know what questions to ask. You know, how are you different? Makes you different than the other guy. First of all, I come to your house. Most of the other guys got to go to their building. You got to go to their facility. I come to your house on Saturday afternoon at 1. They are not coming to you. So you got to provide whatever the value you may have for that you have for your customers that you have for them. What difference are you bringing? What value are you bringing to your clients or your customers? Or what value is your broker bringing to you? You want to know what they're bringing to your house or to you and your family. Got to know. Huh? And the fees. Sometimes they say no load, you're not paying no fee. Yeah, yeah, you ain't paying nothing up front. But man, when you pulling money out, they're hitting you hard, or you transferring one fund to another, they're hitting you hard. There's no free lunch. Everybody pays. There's no free lunch. Everybody pays. All right. Next thought. The time to take action is now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Not say I should have done it. I should have done it. I should have done it when I was 20. No, now. You can be 55 years old and you haven't done it at all. Well, I should have done that when I was 30. No, do it now. We are living longer as people. You 55, you can live to you 85. I mean, you got 30 years, you still gonna be here. That's enough time to put some money aside because when you're 85, you get 80, you still gonna be rolling. You're gonna need something put aside. Because Medicare Part One and Medicare Part Two, you gotta pay for. Part one, if you work 10 years, you get that kind of free, but part two, you got to pay for. So you need some money. Put something away to help you help yourself. You got to help yourself. And the best way to help yourself is you start socking something away. Got to. All right. So when is the best time? This is the time to take action is when? Now. Got to do that. Take that action. When? Today. Now. So you can you can first of all you can call me. I'll put my information in it. Actually, my information is already on my post on the Facebook page, LinkedIn, and Twitter. You can find the information there, or you can also call me. It's in there as well. Find a friend who can refer you to somebody you can sit down and talk to. That's that's easy as well. And just you got to get in there and do something for your life, do something for yourself, because you got to. One of the things my mama said would always say, "Well, you got to think twice and calculate your actions." Sometimes you think twice and calculate your actions. Make sure you take care of you. Alrighty, next one. Book club. End of the day things. August 22nd at 1 o'clock. That's we're gonna get on the line. It's gonna be Monday afternoon at 1 for those that are willing, able, and capable of getting on our book club. The book is gonna be The Power of One. I don't have a little graphic of that, but it's gonna be fun. I like reading. Kind of nuts about reading. I kind of transferred that skill over to my kids. My son is like my oldest boy. He's 35. He just had Joe Blake the fourth. That's my boy. But he's going to be. He won't be able to get on there, but he's into reading real bad. Poor guy. All right, so this is talks about the market. I show this is you plant your seed, you give it some time, then you reap the harvest. That's what the markets look like over time. That doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a moment. You plant your seed, give it some time, and that bad boy, it just builds up to a mountain without fail. All right, so this is our motto again. Knowledge comes in, the behaviors you want to change. In the middle has the actions you need to take, quarterly, monthly, semi-annual. Got the shopping cart, take the shopping cart, goes around each stage of the model itself. Whole. All right, to get a hold of way to get a hold of the brother. Okay, you got the number, cell. If I don't answer, leave a message. Leave a message, and then ain't gonna hit nobody for just leaving a message. Don't just call and hang up. Leave a message, and I'll follow up with you. Got my website, got the Zoom, got the book where you can purchase, Patreon page, got my webinar, different ways to contact. And if I don't answer, leave a message on my phone, and I'll call you. All right, you want to do that. Next week, I'll be able to post the radio interview that I had on Carol Blonder's radio station, 1100 KFNX in Phoenix. I did that on Thursday and talked about financial literacy as well. There, I shared about uh, more about uh, uh, the insights for my model. Also talked about a need for women to have a understanding about finance as well. About some articles I read there. I like to read. I'm just crazy about that. Some of the references that I used. That's a reference to the article that I've been reading, and yeah, that is the book there. I tell you what I've gained from just being a part of the financial world, and believe me, initially I was a firefighter, so learning these things now, and instead of fighting fires, I'm fighting financial fires. I like the mission that God has given me, and I've been able to share with everybody. I do my best to be as I'm just me sharing these things because this is what I know I've been called to do. So with that, this has been Dr. Blake at the Excellent Financial Literacy Center, and hey, I look forward to seeing everyone again next week, same time, same Blake channel. See you guys next time.